Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we've got the second video and it's actually part one of probably two parts of a big modern mansion that I've created. This was actually supposed to be my first video for the channel and I started making it and I loved it and I just realised it was huge and it would take way too long to put into sort of 25 minutes so that I could just do it in one video because there's quite a lot of detail and obviously a lot of rooms and landscaping and things to do. Even though it's not the hugest plot that you can do, I don't think I would try 50 by 50 for a good long while because there's just so much space and landscaping and it would just look too empty if you don't fill it all out. So I think this is 30 by 40, but it fills the whole space and it's a big house, but it's not the biggest that it could be. There are a lot of rooms missing that a mansion might have. I haven't put in a laundry room or a gym or anything like that, a spa, something that you would really associate with a huge mansion. It's just a family home that is absolutely perfect for large dinner parties. And I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Also, sorry if I sound a bit croaky. I've had a sore throat for the last few days and I'm pretty sure that it's nothing more than that. I think it's just a normal cold. It's the second week in September, and that is usually Freshers Week for me. So I think my body has just said, you should be getting sick now because you should be at university. But I'm not. For the first time in my life, it's September and I do not have a school year to start. And that's actually a really strange feeling for me, considering the last time I didn't have a school year to start, I was about 3 years old. So yeah, it's just a really strange thing that I'm not packing up all of my belongings and taking them back to university and I'm just here at home for the winter. I'm not too sure that I'm going to get a ski job at this rate anymore. It's with the virus and in France and Germany and Austria, you don't really know what's going on. And there's likely to be second waves. People aren't hiring as many people and also a lot of the time lots of people have deferred for another year of university, so they're going back to their ski jobs. So there just aren't that many jobs out there for me, so that's a bit sad. But I've got this is my new hobby, to create YouTube videos and houses and have a lot of fun with it. So I'm learning a lot as I'm doing it as well, and I realised that as I was editing this video down, it was so much quicker than the first one I did. So I'm sure I'll be a whiz in no time, and that's pretty exciting for me. So this house really came from the inspiration that I wanted to do a skylight because I've got a brand new laptop which I bought so that I could play Sims 4 on Ultra because my little Surface Pro couldn't, it could barely play it on laptop mode, which has no shadows or any detail in it at all. So I bought this laptop so that I could play Sims properly without any buffering. And the one thing that I wanted was for my light settings to be set to very high, because that's when you get the skylights that actually work. So I thought that I would make a house around a skylight and I popped the dining room table underneath it with the huge floor to ceiling glass windows that make a really bright, airy space that brings in a lot of light. In this morning light, I think it just looks amazing. I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. I do actually go and change it a bit to just reduce the size of the skylight so that it fits better with the build. But I'm just so happy that I now get to use that feature because it makes so many more builds available to me that actually look good and look as they should. Because if you have your light setting on anything other than very high, the skylight doesn't show up and it just works as a normal roof, but it looks like glass. So that's a bit disappointing. So with the floor-to-ceiling lights, windows, I thought that it kind of gave off a modern aesthetic, so that's what I've put throughout the whole of the build. And I thought white with black accents would look really nice, but also I just didn't want it to be too boring, so I have tried to put some colour around with feature walls and paintings, a few little rugs. So the kitchen has sort of a white and black colour scheme, but then also with a few splashes of green in there. And I think that makes it much more interesting and brightens the place up a bit. And yeah, it just doesn't keep it being so boring. So the first video I did that I popped on my YouTube channel actually was slightly inspired by some of the features on this one. So the columns, I don't usually use columns, and these curved windows. So this house that I'm making now doesn't copy that one. It's sort of the other way around. But yeah, I've just I liked having the dark features with that white, with the white wallpaper swatches. And I think, and especially when I start popping the roof on, it really makes the house come together. And right now I'm just doing the floor plan. The upstairs floor plan actually changes quite a lot as I go through the build. And because I just realised that where I thought I wanted a bathroom, it could only be accessed through the bedrooms. And that didn't work for how many bathrooms there were. More, I think about 4 rooms use one, like the family bathroom. So it didn't work having it within bedrooms, because you wouldn't want to at night go in and wake someone up if you need to use the bathroom, or if you want a late night shower or something. And I also popped another bathroom downstairs. So this house, I think, is 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. It might be 6 bedrooms. I really went for it, but as I say, I could make a much larger house, and I probably will at some point, but I don't want to do too many videos that need multiple parts to them, because I do really like showing the detail. And for this video, I've had to cut out a lot of the things that I do before I get the finished product. So a lot of the trial and error of roofing and rooms and colour schemes and things you don't actually see on here because it's all been cut out. But yeah, these sort of things take many hours, and I hope you think it's worth it. It's been on my gallery for a few days now, and I think it's my most downloaded house, so I'm pretty pleased with it. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. And the family that I'm playing at the moment, my legacy challenge, or not challenge, but my legacy family, they've finally had a girl. I had 5 boys in a row through 3 generations, and I so wanted a girl because I wanted to use the name Leah, which I absolutely love for a girl's name. And I finally got that, so I can stop having children, because I said that I was only going to stop having children when I got a girl. So we're now 4, I think my household now has 4 children, and so they might be moving into this house, because when the toddler and now the baby age up, I won't have enough space for them. But that was another one. Where they're living now is actually one of my other favourite builds, and I might do sort of a tour around that for this channel, just a quick video, because I love it. It's actually based on my grandparents' house. I created the shell and rooms with my dad, and then I changed the whole floor plan to make it flow better and created a really modern interior, and we absolutely love it, so I might take a tour around that. So right now I'm just trying to incorporate a second upstairs balcony. I ended up scrapping it after a while because I forgot to put any doors onto it, and I'd furnished all of the rooms for it, and I was like, there's absolutely no way to get out, and I didn't want to change all the rooms around, so I just scrapped it. And I actually made what I think it's a really nice entryway, because it makes the front door so much grander when you don't have when it's sort of a double story room or outside space. So yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out. But this is roofing. This has been cut down significantly from how much time I actually spent on it. I really miss the Sims 3 days where you used to be able to, I think you clicked a button or something and it automatically made roofs. They were usually pretty bad, but you could start getting an idea of what you wanted and what it would look like. And we don't have that feature in Sims 4, so I'm really missing that, because roofing takes forever. And to do these things so that it's quite unnoticeable with the trims, but you get an overhang but it doesn't look weird, all of that takes ages to decide which type of roof you want to use and how high it should be and whether you want any rotation on it or anything. It just takes so long. And yeah, roofing's something I dread. I mean, it makes a house look great, but there's just so much more customization that I think we need if we wanted to get everything that we could. So for instance, that overhang that I'm just making there, I really wanted the middle of that to come out between the middle of the 2 other roof pieces, and it's just slightly off, which for someone that's nitpicky, that's so annoying. But when I popped the black roof tiles on and the black trim, I just thought that the house looked so much better and cleaner and finished, and it started to look as I wanted it. So I'm really, really happy with how it turned out, and I'm glad I went through all that stress because, yeah, I'm just really happy with how it turned out. And one of the things I find that we really can't do is roofing around corners, because there's not a roof tile that really works towards having one slope up one corner and another up a different one that actually join together and look good. So to get around that, I put the balcony on the right hand side because I just didn't want to deal with it. I thought very quickly that would just work well, and it can be sort of a really nice guest bedroom or something that has a balcony outside, and I didn't have to roof it at that point. So I'm really glad I did that, because trying to roof something and it just then doesn't look good and it just doesn't go for the sort of feel that I wanted. So the balcony worked really well. And I'm just putting in the living room. This is quite an open space. I tried to keep the sort of the white with the black accents going throughout, and I was looking at quite old-fashioned wallpapers which don't really go with a modern interior, but I thought that maybe this would be a house for quite a posh couple. They've made a lot of money in their time and they've just settled down to have kids, and they love entertaining their business friends. So I thought this worked well as sort of a cozy but also entertaining space. So your kids can be watching TV, but also if they're out on a sleepover, you can have a lot of professionals around as well. And I put that bathroom in so that the only downstairs toilet wasn't the master bedroom ensuite, because you wouldn't want your guests to go through into your bedroom. So an extra little toilet down there. Using the middle wall height is actually something that's quite new to me. It's not something I usually choose to do, but I think for a mansion or a grand house, it looks really good, especially with those huge windows. And actually it didn't turn out to be too big of an issue. I had the small wall heights upstairs, but for this one, because I put the arches in, you didn't have too many large open walls with nothing on. So I think that's when it becomes tricky to furnish, and I just popped 2 or 3 really large paintings in, and then it looked quite full. So I was quite glad that I didn't have too much issue with that, because usually I would just think that it looks too sparse. But with the wallpapers that I chose and the big windows, I think it works really nicely. And this room, I originally wanted to be a really grand study that was sort of open. I kind of imagined that you'd have sort of I don't know, a couple that don't have any children, or some just really high class professionals that would, either a writer or something that would want to write every day in a big study, or someone that might be really high up in their profession or something. So that's what I thought. And then I realised how big I'd made the house, and that it just didn't work at that point, because there were so many rooms upstairs that I thought they definitely had to be kids' rooms. And so I changed it to sort of a family home. But this, I think, works as a really amazing entertaining space. So like I was saying, that you would have great parties in here and loads of people around for huge dinner parties. They could also have that catered, so you could have 2 musicians if you wanted, or I could imagine you all sitting around while your host or something plays a few tunes on the piano and someone sings or something like that. That's just really fun. And I think it's really nice that it looks that you can see the grand piano through, but it's not actually within the room. So it is still a study, and it does work really nicely. But yeah, I was pretty happy with how that turned out and how it flowed in the house as well. And then here I'm adding I guess mid-story trim, but it doesn't work underneath roofs. It has to be between 2 different rooms, so between 2 different floors. So I had to use a few clever tricks to get the trim to go all the way around the house. But once I did, I think it just makes it so much more interesting, because I have used a very plain swatch. I did want to use the swatch which has bricks going on the corners of the property, but it just those swatches aren't working very well for the builds that I'm building at the moment. They don't have the bricks where each corner is, so it makes it look really strange, especially between the first floor and the second floor. So I didn't go with that. I just went with a plain, I think it's like quite creamy, and I checked and it looks really nice in all different lights. But do let me know through Twitter or YouTube comments or anything if you want any tutorials, because I haven't seen many that have been done recently. But if there's anything that you don't know how to do or see that I've done that you haven't thought about before, I'd be very happy to make some tutorials up or talk you through what you're struggling with, because I know that there are quite a few tricks, and if you're new to it, then you might not know them or might not understand why some features aren't working. And speaking of which, columns are so annoying. None of them seem to work. None of them go up and down. I thought there was an update for it, but it doesn't seem to have changed much, and they just frustrate me so much. We don't have enough plain ones either that aren't super thick, which is what I was looking for this one. And so I ended up with these columns, but they don't have a black swatch, which is, for a house that is white and black, really annoying. But we went with it. It was a really dark brown, so unless you're super nitpicky, which I usually am, but I had to deal with it because I didn't want anything that was too detailed. So a lot of these, I mean, some of them do come in black swatches, but they're just too detailed. They're really used for internals. So I went with these ones, and there was only one place that I could actually make it 2 stories, because I'm not even sure what the limitations are with columns anymore. But on this left-hand side next to the 2 windows, to the floor-to-ceiling windows, it had to be 2, but then on this semi-corner for the diagonal bit, it could go all the way up. So they're just really frustrating me at the moment. We've had all the windows and doors updates, and I just really hope we get a column update soon, because there's so much that they could just be so much better in the way that they function and work. And I'm not sure why there are so many restrictions on it, because they don't work with the move objects cheat on, or you can't override any of the functions that don't allow you to go up and down where you want them. And I just hope they change that soon. That would really help me. And also if we could get a few plainer ones. And in Sims defense, I don't have all the packs, so there might be some really nice ones that I just don't own yet, and I'll probably be keeping my eye out for those, because they would be really fun and they would make my build look so much better, I think, if I just had some plain ones just to accent the outsides, which I really like doing at the moment. And now I'm just going to finish up this part working on the master bedroom and ensuite. I don't know how common it is to have a master bedroom downstairs, but the last 2 houses I've made have, and I think this one came out really nicely. It's spacious and really grand, and I could just see a couple growing old there and just really absolutely loving this bedroom. But also if they had multiple kids, like this house is made for, I think it would just be their sort of safe place. The kids aren't allowed. They know that that's sort of mum and dad's quiet time when they're reading in their room or taking a few moments out. I think this is the perfect bedroom for that. And I'm decided to make this walk-in integrated closet. It was, and I can't believe I'm saying this, it was actually inspired by an EA build, I think in Brindleton Bay, but I might be wrong, where I saw it. And I don't think theirs was as detailed, but I think it just worked so well to have it with arches. I really liked it. It didn't close it off, and it didn't make the bedroom feel any smaller, but it also creates this amazing detail. And with that vintage glamour dressing table, I just think it looks so great, and I can imagine like a child maybe sneaking in there to play with the makeup, which is such a cute feature from that vintage glamour stuff pack. I did my usual cluttering up of the surfaces and making it all look really lived in. And I mean, when I do my makeup, the bottles just go everywhere, because I'm always rushing out the house, whether that's to meet my friends or to work or something. I'm always doing my makeup in such a rush. So it just looks really, the dressing table just looks really like rushed, and it's got everything you need on there for both male and females. This, as I was decorating it, I realised just how huge a room it is. So I've put in this, obviously a double bed, and then I've tried to fill every space that I can. So the floor to ceiling glass in there I'd always thought would be a really nice reading corner. So I've popped a bookshelf and a few chairs, and I popped some plants around the room, which I mean, I kill every plant that I accidentally. I kill every plant that I buy or that's given to me, so I don't have lots of plants in my house. But I heard some people do, and I think in The Sims, it just makes a room look so much fuller when you've got lots of plants, so that's what I try to incorporate. And I also made this house just after the Windows update, so I was experimenting with having multiple windows overlapping and in the same place, and I love that that's been given to us. And I'm not sure if I think those windows would have been possible, but there were loads of other things that I was debating about doing with the windows that incorporated the use of that patch update. And there's this reading corner coming together. I ended up changing these curtains because I think when I put them down, I didn't realise how short they were. So I do go in and change that. And then we've got a television, and I had to pop in some large posters, and I really tried to make everything go with the room. But I love this wallpaper, the light grey. I think it makes a room look so modern and but also cozy. My bedroom at home is actually a sort of grey and white colour scheme, and I just love that for bedrooms. And we're just starting to finish off this room. As you can see, it's just quite grand. I think it makes quite a statement if you go in, but I could imagine the couple or the family that live here to be very protective over their bedroom, and they don't let anyone see it really. But it's all starting to come together. So the second part will be the upstairs area and the landscaping, and then we'll do a little tour. But these are the finishing touches for this part. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back in a few days once I've recorded the audio for the second part. And please leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you haven't already for more of my content. And this build is available already on my gallery, which is Happy Sims on Origin. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time.